Have you ever heard or experienced any strange things in your life? Like feeling sensations in the body, such as a crawling feelings on the skin, or hearing strange sounds, such as low eerie music, footsteps, windows or door banging, or hearing voices when no one has spoken. These voices may be positive, negative, or neutral. They may command someone to do something that may cause harm to themselves or others. Seeing any patterns, lights, shadow, or objects that are not there, or smelling an odor. Got goosebumps? Well, these are nothing but hallucinations. Now, what is hallucinations? A hallucination is something you see, hear, feel, smell, or taste that seems real but actually not. These things are created by the mind. Hallucinations can happen through any of the five senses, but the most common types are visual and auditory. Hallucinations are common symptoms of schizophrenia, but they can also be caused by drug abuse or excessive alcohol intake, fever, bereavement, depressions, or dementia. You may also relate this story with time machine science fiction movies. You may find many movies on future and past time machine. And if you were Doraemon watcher, then you would definitely know what I'm talking about. And all of you surely would like this lesson. Let's get started. Hello there, Yasmin here from My Education My Power. So today we'll be discuss the lesson the third level from the book Vistas class 12. Let's know some interesting fact about the author. Walter Braden Jack Finney, an American writer, was born as John Finney on 2nd October 1911 in United States. He was given the name Jack Finney, but soon after his father died when he was 3 years old, he was renamed Walter Braden Finney in honor of his father. He is mainly known for his contribution to the science fiction and thriller genre. The Body Snatchers and Time and Again are his most famous creative work ever. His work, The Body Snatchers, became the source of highly popular and influential film. He was given the World Fantasy Award in 1987 for life achievement at the World Fantasy Convention, held in Nashville, Tennessee. He died of pneumonia and emphysema in Green Bay, California at the age of 84 in 1995. There are three characters in the story: Charlie, the main character of the story; Sam, a psychiatrist; Louisa, Charlie's wife. The third level by Jack Finney is about the harsh realities of war. War has irreversible consequences, thus leaving people in a state of insecurity. It is also about modern day problems and how common man tends to escape reality by various means. In this story, a man named Charlie hallucinates and reaches the third level of Grand Central Station, which only has two levels. Let us take a closer look at the story. Let's begin the chapter. The third level tells the story of a 31-year-old man named Charlie, and it begins with the mention of a third level at the Grand Central Station, but in reality there are only two levels. Here level means floor. The protagonist Charlie himself is aware of the two levels. So one fine evening while rushing home to the Grand Central Station in New York City, he ends up finding himself on the third level of the station. Also, he claimed that he has been there in the third level, which was not possible. To talk about this problem, he visits a psychiatrist friend. Then the psychiatrist said that it was nothing but a waking dream wish fulfillment, means daydreaming, or we can say in other words, hallucination. He also said that Charlie is unhappy in his life and he wanted to escape from this present life. He meant that the modern world was full of fear, tension and worries. The third level provided him an exit from these problems and tension. His old friends also agreed with the psychiatrist. They said that his habit of stamp collection was also a temporary escape. But Charlie did not agree with them. He said that his grandfather too started the stamp collection, and in his grandfather's days life was very peaceful. He did not need an escape. Besides, President Roosevelt also collected stamps. He started explaining what exactly happened on that evening. Charlie got late from his office and he wanted to reach home as soon as possible. So he thought to take the subway of the Grand Central to catch a train as it is faster than the bus. He describes himself as an ordinary man of 31, dressed in a tan gabardine suit and a straw hat with a fancy band. It was so ordinary that he could see other similar men at the station. He explains how he was in a normal state of mind and never tried to escape from anywhere. But at the moment he wanted to get home to his wife Louisa as soon as possible. As he was getting late for home, he took the subway of Grand Central Station from the Vanderbilt Avenue and took the stairs to the first level where he saw one-boarded trains like the 20th century. Then he went down the second level where trains left for suburban areas. From there, he entered an arched doorway and got lost. It was nothing unusual for him as he had lost his way a couple of times earlier too while taking the subway. Once he entered the lobby of Roosevelt Hotel, while the other time he emerged as an office building that was 3 blocks away. But this time when he lost his way, something unique happened. He visited the third level. He wondered that Grand Central was expanding at a very fast rate, just like a tree and with its roots. And there he found a secret tunnel under the city to the Times Square or maybe the Central Park. He feels that Grand Central is a place of exit for innumerable people. He also managed to escape reality because of the same reason, although he never shared it with his psychiatrist. The unusual corridor he had entered into began angling left and slanting downward, which he felt odd, but kept on walking. There was no one except him and the voice of his feet echoed. He finally heard the sound of people talking from a distance. Then he took a left and walked down the stairs again, only to reach the third level of the Grand Central. He thought he had somehow made his way back to the second level, but as he noticed the room was smaller, there were fewer ticket windows and train gates, and the information booth in the center was made up of wood and old looking. The man in the booth was also very different and there was no lights except open flame gaslight. Charlie could see brass spittoons everywhere when suddenly a glimpse of light caught his eye and he saw a man pulling his gold watch from the west. He was dressed in an old-fashioned style. Suddenly he noticed that everyone was dressed like a 19th century. It was basically the time before deadly wars. People had old-fashioned beards and mustaches all around, something that the Charlie had never seen before. He even saw a very small courier and Ives locomotive which made him sure about which time he is in. To validate his suspicion, he went over to the newspaper boy who was selling The World, a newspaper which was discontinued years ago. There were some headlines about then President Cleveland. The date on the front page was also June 11, 1894. He was now sure. Immediately he went to the ticket window to get tickets for Illinois for him and his wife. He had always wanted to travel to Galesburg with his wife Louisa. In his mind, it was a wonderful town with tremendous greenery and trees everywhere and frame houses. In 1894, it was a heaven of peace and tranquility. People lived a carefree life, so he asked for 2 tickets to Galesburg. He then paid the fare in modern notes which were very different from those in 1894. The clerk thought the notes were fake and Charlie was trying to cheat him. He threatened to get him arrested. Charlie immediately turned around and ran as fast as he could. Next day, Charlie bought old Stein notes from a coin dealer. He got only 200 old dollars for 300 new dollars. But he was very happy because in the year 1894, eggs cost 13 cents a dozen. But he could never again find the corridor that led to the third level. Charlie's wife was worried when she heard that he had bought old style notes. So Charlie turned to his stamp collection. Somehow the psychiatrist disappeared out of the blue. Charlie suspected that he had gone to Galesburg. He finds himself in the time space of 1894. One night Charlie discovered an envelope. It is an envelope that stamp collectors mail to themselves on the very first day of its sale to mark the date. They are just blank inside and are not meant to be opened. That night he found by surprise one of his grandfather's old first day covers. Someone had mailed it to his father at his home at Galesburg. As he saw from the address on the envelope, the postmark showed that it had been there since July 18, 1894. The stamp had a picture of President Garfield on it. It was a 6-cent, dull brown color stamp. His grandfather had put it in his stamp collection and the Charlie now discovered it. The paper inside was not blank this time. In the letter it was written, as you can see the address above. It was written in 1894 and addressing to Charlie, who is living in present year. It is written in the letter that Charlie was right about the third level and he found that too. He has been there for past 2 weeks and he is enjoying a lot. People there are full of fun with no tension and worries. Later, Charlie went to the stamp and the coin store and was surprised to know that Sam had exchanged $800 into old currency of the year 1894. The letter which he received from Galesburg was sent by Sam himself. Now who is Sam here? Sam is his psychiatrist. Sam, his psychiatrist, found the third level and started the business over there. The story ends at a mysterious note where Charlie is wondering about his psychiatrist Sam. The story of the third level clearly explores the science fiction genre of time travel. Jack Finney, the recipient of the World Fantasy Award, interweaves fantasy with the reality in the most futuristic projection of time travel. Charlie wishes to be transported to the third level, the world of 1894, which is supposedly the much happier and the quieter place to be. It is one of the most conscious and entertaining story about time travel. The question of whether the third level exists in reality or only in Charlie's mind can be inferred from Sam's letter. Let's have the summary. This is the story of a 31-year-old man, Charlie. One day after work, coming from the subway, he reached the third level of the Grand Central Station. He reminisces the entire experience with his psychiatrist friend, Sam. Charlie thought he experienced time travel and had reached somewhere in the 1890s, a time before the world saw two of its most deadliest wars. As soon as he realized what time he is in, he immediately decided to buy 2 tickets to Galesburg, Illinois, one for himself and the other for his wife. Unfortunately, the currency used in that century was different. Thus, the next day he withdrew all his savings and got them converted, even if it meant bearing losses. He went looking for the third level but failed to find it. It worried his wife and the psychiatrist Sam, who told him that he is hallucinating in order to take refuge from reality and miseries of the modern world, which is full of worrying. Charlie thus resorts to his stamp collection in order to distract himself when suddenly one day he finds a letter from his friend Sam, who had gone missing recently. Sam wrote that he always wanted to believe in the idea of third level and now that he is there himself, he encourages Charlie and Louisa to never stop looking for it. So my little friends, if you could travel through time and visit any period of history, where would you go? Give your answer in the comment box below there. I'll see you again with another interesting lesson. Till then, take a very good care of yourself. Bye for now.